words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Good morning. My name is Dave Griffith. I'm honored to be with you this morning here at St. Matthew's. I want you to know there are 3 St. Matthews in the GPS system, but we'll get back to that later. I want to thank Dave and Jay for the invitation. And I also want to thank you for your long-standing support of Episcopal Community Services, where I am the executive director. I am the first layperson called to lead this 145-year-old organization, and as a lifelong Episcopalian, I must tell you I am humbled by that call. While I have spent my life's work in the for-profit world, my passion and my purpose has been to be on a journey shaped by the call to service, a call I have come to know as our common work. Today, I'd like to spend a few minutes talking about that common work. As a people of faith, we know almost from day one the words of our baptismal covenant. Specifically, I'd like to call your attention to the final words. Will you seek and serve Christ in all persons, loving your neighbor as yourself? And the people answer, I will, with God's help. Will you strive for justice and peace among all people and respect the dignity of every human being? And again, the people answer, I will, with God's help. Our common work is grounded in our common call to service, to meet the standard of loving our neighbor as ourselves, to strive for justice, to respect the dignity of every human being, to not only care for the family and loved ones, but to also care for the stranger among us. At Episcopal Community Services, our work is grounded in our baptismal covenant. As the executive director, I'm often asked about our focus. My answer is our overarching focus is to confront poverty wherever we meet it. We believe that the way out of poverty is a job built on a foundation of education, training, safety, wellness, and security. That where employment is not possible due to age or disability, to provide stability. In addition, we look to give the voice to those in poverty and stand as a leadership organization in this battle for social justice. Let me be clear, ECS is not a safety net agency. We are a lift up, lift out agency, focused on those who want and need the tools to move with certainty beyond poverty, especially the most vulnerable of our region's population, which is where for 145 years ECS has often done its best work. So underneath that focus is a series of programs focused on that select segment of those in the region that form the population that live in poverty. It's important to note that in the city of Philadelphia and the region, of the 10 major cities, Philadelphia has the highest level of poverty of any of the major cities at 28%. These programs that we respond to poverty with are shaped with and from the voice of our participants, their hopes, and their dreams. We look to be a client-focused agency, not one focused by contracts. If you ask your customer, if you ask your client, if you ask your participant, they will tell you what they need. In many ways, this defines what is unique about ECS. So what are the programs? We work with underserved youth in our out-of-school time program, recently ranked #1 in the nation. We focus on youth age 14 to 18 in our Seeing Youth Succeed program, and we focus on 18 to 23-year-olds, and our purpose here is to engage this population with our newly launched employment center designed to help them find full-time, meaningful employment, with the emphasis on the word meaningful. We also work with homeless mothers and their children at ECS, St. Barnabas's Mission at 60th and Girard, as well as permanent supportive housing for chronically homeless families where one member of the head of household has a disability. Through our parenting work, we lay the groundwork for responsible parenting for individuals who have not had a solid model of parenting. Our home care groups, which some folks are learning about in adult forum as we speak, bring stability and care to the elderly. And our newest ECS mission, although an old program in the region, Dolphins of the Delaware Valley, volunteers visit the elderly in nursing homes where those individuals may not have family, or certainly not family that's close. We look to meet poverty. We look to meet poverty wherever we find it by extending our reach to individuals in Darby, Chester, Norristown, Port Richmond, Frankfort, and Bristol. Our joint mission with the diocese is up and running in Darby. Finally, we work with our parish brothers and sisters to build capacity and skills to support the common mission in the region and to build relationships with volunteers, without whom we could not staff at the levels that we do. To date, we have worked with over 30 different parishes on these capacity building projects. We are also responding to a local social service system that, frankly, ladies and gentlemen, is in chaos and stress. We leverage our extraordinary professional staff across a range of disciplines: strategy, advancement, finance, human resources, technology, even quality, to work with other agencies and other parishes as an umbrella organization, and in some cases to bring these programs into ECS and allow them to focus solely on, productively, on the mission at hand. Dolphins being the latest example. Over time, we will grow, and we'll grow with such a strategy where we meet people with common mission that focus on poverty, stability, and advocacy. Now, it's important to understand that we are not alone in this work, as we partner in the Interfaith Alliance with our brothers and sister agencies at Jewish, Methodist, Lutheran, Presbyterian, and Catholic. For the first time, these agencies are working together to find common practice, to avoid duplication, and to try and speak with one voice on the critical issues of the day. So while these are missions and strategies that resonate with our staff and program participants, we have an obligation to give a voice to the issue of poverty and call with collective accountability for the solution to this deep-seated regional issue. Our long-term aspiration, the long-term goal, is that every business and employer in the region commit to hiring a share of their workforce from the population currently living in poverty. $5.7 billion gets spent in our region on the 14 safety net programs. 1960, poverty was 15%. As we sit here today, it's 28%. One could argue at how effective government programs have been. If 10% of the jobs in the 5 counties of the Diocese of Pennsylvania were filled by individuals in poverty looking to find meaningful work, the potential number is some 4,000 to 6,000 individuals per year, based on the current trend and census. Such an action of hiring from this population, especially first-time job seekers, incredibly important. The needle on poverty moves, and moves long-term. Within a generation, we can lower the population of individuals in poverty and raise the quality of life across the region. We see our job at ECS to work both sides of this equation